Yo, welcome to the show, it's the Hey Bud Variety stream, leave you buzzing on a good flood. Topics all the way from the serious to absurd. We talking about life, so listen to these words. Hosts bring the heat like summer in the city. Debates so lit, they nothing but witty. From cooking tips to conspiracy hits, you laughing and learning when we spit these bits. Hey Bud, tune in, chill with us tonight. Grab a drink, lean back, vibe so tight. Fun and knowledge blending, it's a special brew. Hey Bud, it's the podcast just for you.
Hey, Bud.
Hey, Bud. Back again.
We're back. You wanted to get me all fired up last time.
Yeah, we didn't learn our lesson. Here we are.
Here we are. You want to get me all fired up about China and communism. And then we were talking before the show, and I wanted to do, straight just crap on communism as much as possible.
Yeah, well, it's kind of your thing.
It's
how much you love communism that you just spend all your waking time just reading it and learning it and probably loving it by the end of it. We'll see.
We're doing what now? I hate you so much.
Thank
all right.
you.
So we were going over some generalized numbers before we started the show about why communism sucks ass.
Yeah.
And by a reflection, China also sucks ass.
Yeah, but they suck ass the most.
Yeah. I mean, because they're the current one.
I mean, I think if you're going to look at communism and see why it's such a terrible thing, the number one thing you have to look at is their fucking death rates, and not even just from conflict and war, but their own mismanagements. Like
Sure.
that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
okay.
It actually, no. The thing is, it actually killed their fucking mismanagement is so drastically high compared to anything else they do. Their wars can't even fucking come close to their famines and their stupidity.
They barely had any wars. Because they're just so much better at like starving and killing their own people than they are at fighting wars. What was the last war they were really involved in? Was Korea.
Yeah. I think that officially...
It was the Korean War.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one they officially were involved in.
Right.
Which, to be fair, they did the same thing that Ukraine and Russia would do, and they were like, let's just make them run towards the guns.
Yeah, but...
Kind of worked a couple times.
But how many people they lost in the Korean War is nothing.
I don't know. Let's find out.
I mean, no, here, it's right here. I got you.
How many? Oh, okay. Oh, look at you with your
No.
education. Hit me.
Korean War deaths between 400 and 600,000 Chinese soldiers.
Those are rookie numbers.
Rookie numbers. So, and I'm not going to get into the rest. I'm sure we will in just a moment. But the Great Leap Forward of theirs alone, right?
Yeah.
30 to 45 million people dead. Chinese people dead.
Wait, can you say that again? So how many soldiers did they lose in the Korean War? Just
for the people in the back. During the Korean War, the Chinese lost between 400 and 600,000 people, soldiers specifically. But in just their own fuck-ups of the government that they had, the Great Leap Forward was between 30 and 45 million people.
Just the one.
I think that quite well.
Where did the megaphone come from?
I just wanted the people in the back to hear that. That not only they lost. I mean, don't get me wrong. 400 to 600,000 soldiers in a war is a shit ton of soldiers. It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of lives.
But 32 to 55 or 52 million people because y'all couldn't make fucking food.
Your numbers are low. Your numbers are low during Mao Zedong's policies, right? So
you're a Mao Zedong.
Mao Zedong, Great Leap Forward. Like 45 million people is what I have. 45 million people from starvation.
Well, I said between 32 and, what did I say? 30?
Crappy government
30 and 45 million.
Okay, so now we've set that
So what do you
out.
mean mine's low? You said 45. It's the same one.
It's 45. You said 42.
No, I said between 30 and
3
45 million.
people. No, you
I
said
think
42.
I think maybe you should stop telling your lies, John. It's so much more. It's the same fucking number. Did I say it wrong earlier? Maybe, but we're not going to test and look back to see if I was right.
If we have a 3 million.
What's your low number from
difference.
yours? What's your low number?
15 million.
15. So mine's between 30 and 45. Yours is between 15 and 45.
Okay.
Which just goes to show
What is
it's so fucking unknown. It's probably even higher
What
than
does your
that.
silly thing say for between Mao Zedong and the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution? Right. So what's your addition there?
Hold on.
I have
what are your dates on there? Because I went mine's through dates. The Cultural Revolution, I have between 1 and 3 million.
I asked a different question because I'm smarter with AI than you are.
I asked how many people since the current regime, which was, what did you say, 1921, something like that?
1921.
So from 1921 to current, I asked it, how many Chinese people died from all mass deaths, I should say, between wars, famines, everything within that country, Chinese people specifically. And John took that as all communism.
What's the difference?
There's more communists than just China. We were talking about China,
but like it's all the same. You're just picking one country from another instead of an ideology, which is the scourge of this planet. Can you do me a favor?
But we both agreed China, and then John's like,
no,
fuck that. We're going deep.
Think of one other ideology on this planet that's been more destructive than communism.
The Biden administration.
Okay, fair. Still, but the numbers still don't hit, bud.
That's because just like the one child in China, the deaths are unknown from that.
I didn't say the most mentally inept. I said the most.
So what you're telling me is that communism is more inept.
Communism is. I would rather have a president that's literally
name one that's more
dead
inept. But we're talking about communism
like,
here,
if you're
bud.
going to give me an option, it's like, hey, look, your president is actually he's in the full throes of Alzheimer's, right?
Which I found out from RFK Jr. is the food he eats.
That very, very well could be. But your president now is in the full throes of Alzheimer's or communism. I'll be like, give me the dead guy.
Well, I just saw something about that. They're talking about how they can't try him. That's why he didn't pardon himself, because he's too old and frail and blah, blah, blah.
During his administration, he was investigated for having all of those like secret classified files like in
his garage
in his house in Delaware, and the prosecutors came out and they're like, he's old, he doesn't remember anything,
right?
So we can't prosecute him. Like, oh, okay. I would rather have that still.
Well, and half of them, I'm pretty sure, Hunter probably just cut in half and rolled up and made a little tutor for himself because he ran out of straws because his dad tried to fucking take him away.
Are you trying to allege that the previous president's son was a cokehead?
No.
Oh, sorry.
He was not specific. There was also crack involved, I believe.
Well, that's totally different.
And he was probably he probably just didn't have it, but the hookers had crack, and he's like, "Wow,
God, dude, what is happening?
When in Rome," that was the hooker's name. So he's like, "When in Rome, we'll just do meth."
What is happening in our country right now? Well, we started this whole thing off on.
Don't worry, he dropped his lawsuit.
We started this whole thing off on communism, and we have ended up at the point where our country is absolutely ridiculous.
What? No. We were talking about the Biden administration, the family, and I believe I'm going to use a term that you said earlier. Same thing.
Same thing. Same. Good. We got that covered. We got that covered. So for any of you communist tankies out there that are watching this, you are the reason why many more people will die from communism when they don't have to. I just want to throw that out there right there. Like put that on them, on their hearts. You should probably think about that. because your ideology is garbage.
Details.
Marx was just a garbage human being. Just an absolute garbage human being. Like from basically the point of when he became an adult until the day he died. Like he was just a bad person. Immoral, crappy ideas. Didn't actually like hold a job and support his family. He was basically broke his entire life because he came up with this idea about like how everyone should be equal, but also you should just pay for everything that I do. And I shouldn't actually have to do anything except sit and write my stupid ideas down. Like that guy would have had a job where he actually had to go out and had a focus of like, I want to take care of my wife and my kids and work hard in order to be in order to do that. He never would have had the time to write down his stupid ideas, which killed over 100 million people, up to 145 million people because of a stupid book he wrote.
You want to know why, John? Because they didn't have the proper DEI things in place.
We're going there
for the workforce in his time in his area, where he probably would have been fine. But they were not hiring him.
The sad part is he kind of ended up being like okay. Like he just had people pay for his life because they were like, oh, man, I'm really interested in your ideas and I'm rich from capitalism, so I'm going to give you money to explore your shitty idea about why capitalism is bad, which is why I have the money to give you money.
Did you just say somebody gave him money in a roundabout sort of way to explore his ideas, and that's how he made money?
Yeah. Dirty capitalist.
Very USAID. Very USAID.
USAID.
Very USAID.
I can't get over the fact that there's people in our country right now, especially these young kids, and they're going to college and they're like, oh, capitalism's the worst. And then they're texting it from their iPhone, right? And the only reason they have an iPhone is because we came up with that idea in the United States.
I absolutely hate that example. It's stupid.
It's not a bad example.
Why is it stupid? Because everybody uses that example. Use something else. Use something else. There's so many more.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm super mad about that person that wants to freaking be mad about capitalism and then go to the store and buy toilet paper, which is soft.
Thank you.
And useful and cleans their butts. And it's not a pine cone. And then they're ticked off that capitalism works when they bought 24 rolls for like what? I don't even know how much it is. What? Less than $12? $12?
That's probably more than that. Shit's expensive.
See what you did there. But you can't live in this country. You can't live in this country, benefit from all the things that this country has given you, and then all of a sudden turn around and be like, communism's better because that's where...
I actually like the toilet paper one better because the thing is like, an iPhone, because that's what everybody uses.
Well, they're made by communism.
Let's be real. It's everything.
You know why?
It's fucking everything.
You know why you can buy an iPhone in this country? Why you can buy an iPhone in this country and it's actually relatively affordable, even though they're like $1,600. But thank God for the cell phone companies.
I think it was only $1,400.
Have enough money to be able to put it on a 0 interest loan over the time while you're with a cell phone company so you can pay it off in 3 years and not even basically notice a damn payment, is because you have a bunch of people in China that are basically slave labor that build it for nothing. You want to know how much that phone probably actually costs?
If you had real labor,
like $600 is what it actually costs.
I don't think it was that much.
Dude, I'm saying from China.
From China. Landed 600
to your hands.
I'd go with that.
$600.
Yeah.
Transportation costs.
And there's a 50% upkeep plus a little bit more.
The CCP gets to make their money off of it because obviously they make money off of everything that's made in China because they're just completely authoritarian. They have their art.
It's the waves, bud. It's the waves.
Business, right? Sure. Yeah, the waves. Great. So now you've got basically
just wave your money past. Bye.
Apple's making double on that phone.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not upset with that.
And then they sell it. I'm not either. But what I mean to say is they're making 50%. No, 100%. Math. Yeah. Stupid numbers. They're making a crap load of money. They're making double what it costs. the equal amount of what it costs is what they're making on that phone plus.
Sure.
And then you have people that buy that phone that go,
Well, I don't think it's
we should
necessarily cost.
Like capitalism's horrible.
Actual
Like,
cost is
shut up.
probably much lower.
Shut up. Starbucks, blue-haired nonsense human being on your iPhone on X complaining about why capitalism sucks while you work a 40-hour work week with your just
You
wait.
said 40-hour,
Yeah,
buddy.
no. Just hear me out. While you work your 40-hour work week after you paid an exorbitant amount of money for an education in something that doesn't help you enough to the point where you can't work at Starbucks. And for the people out there that actually have money and they're making good money in a capitalist system, and then they want to turn around and complain about a capitalist system and say that communism's better, you're just an idiot.
First off,
Like you're just you're just stupid.
I'm still laughing at the 40-hour.
Dude, I don't know. My wife would probably love for me to work 40 hours a week. I don't know what I would do with the rest of my time.
Right.
What would you, I mean, yes, I spend time with my kids. I spend time with my wife. I get other stuff done around the house. What do you do with the 40 hours a week? And this is the difference between people that
I'm still amazed that you think they're working 40 hours a week. That's the part that boggles my mind.
Oh, you mean that I assumed that they were working full time by American standards?
Well, I guess they kind of are. Anything over
mean-
30 hours is technically that.
Dude. Like at what point do we
Because
get,
now you
do
have
we
to
get there where we're just you should just have free money for being alive? Which is something that California and a few other like blue states have put out where it's like, no, we just want to have a basic income.
Well, their whole thing is
What do they call that? It's a something
No,
BI, something
no.
basic income.
they I think you're talking about more for the homeless, right? Oh, because I know they got a thing for the homeless where
UBI.
I know.
Universal basic income. Like they're talking about like, well, we're just going to give people.
Well, they do that with
This
the homeless
amount
right
of
now.
Well, they
That's
do-
why I thought
yeah.
you were talking about that.
It's like their test.
Oh, it's not
Their
tests. It's
testing
fucking
is
happening.
basically on
Like,
the homeless
People
population.
have moved to California in droves because if you're homeless, they'll provide you with X amount of dollars a month, which I don't recall the number, but it's not like $100. I want to say it's probably, I bet it's 600 to $1,000 maybe, which, yeah, it's not a ton, but what other city out there is paying you to be homeless?
Dude, if you're living in a tent, that seems like a ton of money.
Right.
Like if I was living alone in a tent, $1,000 a month, I can make that work.
I could be a bum. I'm good with that.
I mean,
Problem is, I got too many kids.
you are a bum.
Too many kids.
You just have to go to work every day because
Yeah.
you have too many kids.
Yeah, they
You don't have too many kids. Your kids are great.
well, yeah, they're mine.
Yeah.
Fantastic children.
Dude, like we're trying to do like a historical breakdown of why communism sucks, and now we've
Listen.
ended up on you have a lot of kids.
Welcome to Hey Bud ADHD Central.
This is really like we should have probably more of like a process built out.
Really,
for what we're gonna
John?
talk about.
Really? Really? That sounds fucking fantastic.
It's like I said that in the first place.
Holy shit.
I actually got that one this time.
Shit.
I got that one. Well, we kind of did have an outline, and then we got off the rails.
That'll happen on a job this size.
It will. Man, this show would be a heck of a lot more fun if it was live and people could text in. Or like, whatever they call that.
Texting.
Message in. Leave super chats or whatever. And then tell us why we're retarded. It's a thing. Ooh, can we do that now?
I think that worked out well.
Okay, perfect. Beautiful. So now we're back to communism and why communism is
Awesome.
freaking horrible.
I mean, horrible. That Mark guy had some ideas.
Mark. Oh, yeah. He's just a genius.
All right, so
Look.
I'm gonna run down China. Okay.
Is this just China?
This
or
is
you
just
go,
China.
okay, we're gonna go
You're
through
the,
just
you're the
China.
one.
No,
You're the one that changed mine.
Because I
and it was
hate-
like, I'm gonna go all communist. I know
Because
you
I
said
hate-
China, but let me fuck up your day.
Because I hate
So-
I hate communism in general.
No,
I
that's
think
fine.
it's horrible.
But
All
but
right,
we were
all right.
talking about
Read
one
down-
thing.
Read your
Anyway,
thing. Read your thing.
so the Chinese Civil War aftermath of 1949 to 1950. Deaths between 1 and 2 million. Okay. So I guess I didn't actually double check before 1949, but I guess from
Execution.
1921 to 1949, they was all right. Yeah. Must have been.
No, well, okay. So the Chinese, the CCP, what's known as the CCP,
Started in
today,
1921.
was started in 1921, but there's a whole backstory.
Oh,
through
you got-
World War II, where they were actually working with another group that was the KMT during World War II, and then shortly after World War II, there was an internal civil war between KMT and the CCP, and the CCP ended up coming out on top. There's a whole bunch of history there if you wanted to go.
But
look into
also not worthy
So-
of note for Chinese mass
So-
deaths from the time that they started.
No, because there was two basic powers within China. So there was a ton of deaths in China
Yeah.
based on that civil war, but it wasn't like
Well, yeah, no,
it
the
wasn't-
Civil War,
it
that
wasn't
was the Civil War, but
caused-
I'm saying before the Civil War. I'm talking about before then.
before the Civil War,
That's
it
what I
wasn't
said.
Really tracked because you had the current
21.
body in power, prior
1921 to 1949, everybody was cool
Hold on, no, they weren't.
as far as mass deaths.
As far as what we've researched into from mass deaths caused by the CCP, which is why
I didn't say caused by CCP. I just pulled the ones mass deaths of people of China, regardless of reason. People of China deaths.
You said give me a breakdown of the mass deaths and the reasons for China back to when the current government type took over,
Which would have been
was-
1921.
which would have been 1920, which would have been 1949. 49 is when the CCP actually established current government.
Were they not established in 21?
The CCP started as a political party in 21. They didn't have control of the country really completely until around 48, 49.
Oh,
There
then
was
that's
still-
I said, when they took over.
Right. Which
So
doesn't
you
go-
misinformed me.
No.
Okay.
No.
No, that's fine.
The CCP.
No.
The
John,
CCP
John's just gonna fucking say one thing. Sandbagging
No.
son of a bitch.
No. The CCP started as a political party in 1921. Okay.
Okay, that's not what I heard
1921,
earlier.
Then they're fighting this.
So they
other
took
group.
over in 1949, and they had between 1
Yeah.
and 2 million deaths right off the bat in the first 2 years. Go China. Anyway, now we fast forward to the current.
Go China! Congratulations, you managed to kill 1 million people a year in your first 2 years.
Anyway, moving forward, there was a long stint of. Well, no stint. Anyway,
No, zero.
let's kick off the Korean War in 1950 to 1953. Deaths between 400 and 600,000 Chinese soldiers.
That's just from the war, though.
That's just the war. That is just the war.
Okay, good. So they weren't killing regular people from 50 to 53.
I don't believe they got into that yet.
Which so
Hey,
you had 3
hey.
years. That's 36 months.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Give them time.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough. So we'll just kind of shush into the next part.
So then the anti-rightist campaign from 1957 to 1959.
Wait,
So they had a good
whoa.
they had 4 years of
wait a second. That's not 4 years.
1953 to 1957.
7 years. They went from
Listen, guy.
They went from 1950 to 1957.
No.
Almost.
No. Korean War, 1950 to
That's
1953.
soldiers, dude. We're not going to count war. Let's not count war.
No,
Let's
we're
not-
counting. This is I think
I'm
the
talking
war
about
stop.
things-
Stop. The war I think is most important because the numbers that they've lost in war is so small compared to the numbers they lost because of their own fucking control
Yeah,
and leadership.
No, I totally agree with you. I'm just saying from 1950 to 1957, we're looking at 1.1 million on the high end.
What are you
deaths.
talking about?
Well, the Korean War is
Yeah.
400 to 600,000 Chinese
Yep.
soldiers.
Yeah.
They're going to war.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, like soldiers go to war and they
But there
die,
wasn't.
right? And the anti-rightist campaign, well, I suppose we can't throw that in there. So
Yeah, it was
but
57.
but
So they had,
the anti-rightist
like I said,
campaign
they had 4
started-
years of,
Hold on.
ah,
The anti-rightist campaign started in 1957.
Mm-hmm.
So 1950 to 53 was 600,000 soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take them off the table because soldiers die. It's in war. That's a thing. It's not civilians. That's not what we're counting. So from 1950 to 1957, actually not looking so bad from the information we have.
unless you're those
And then
fucking
all of a sudden-
soldiers.
Well, yeah, okay, but soldiers. There is a separation.
I mean, look up real quick. How many people did we lose in the Korean War?
Dude, it's not going to be that many. I'm going to look it up.
That's
How
what I'm
many
saying.
people-
Like, I look at it from our standpoint, right? Like, we grew up in the global war on terror, and how many people have we lost in both Iraq and Afghanistan in our time in the service? Like under 10,000, right?
I think it's under 10.
It's under
I think
10.
I think it's under 10,000.
Unless you're counting soldier
All right,
suicide, then
US
it's
military,
ridiculous.
U.S. military deaths in the Korean War, 50 to 53.
50 to 53 what?
The Chinese lost 600,000 Chinese soldiers. The U.S. military lost 36,000.
Okay, you said
Just over 36,000 because battle deaths was approximately 33,739.
so. We lost
Non-battle
3,000 from accidents, which is that makes sense.
deaths- Yeah, it's completely believable.
Yeah, honestly, for the time,
Not even that
Probably-
doesn't even
probably-
shock me at all.
probably still current percentages.
Dude. Yes.
It's fucked up, but I mean,
I mean, I'm still there, and
I'm not.
by
Thank goodness.
by those numbers, yep, and shocked that it's probably not.
And honestly, out of all those numbers that haven't changed, I'm surprised you weren't one of them.
Ugh, well, I've been very lucky, or just not
Stick
in the
with
right
that.
place, the right time.
Stick with that. Very lucky.
So
So,
so from 50
they lost-
to 57,
They lost $500,000
whatever.
in
From
7 years in a
57
7-year period.
57 to 59 starts to become a little bit of a problem.
Yeah,
Like we're
yeah.
seeing like 500,000 people
Just a quick $500,000.
in 2 years. That's not great. And then all of a sudden we're like, hey, 1958 to 1962, what's up?
So, I mean, well, time to slap the hammer down on communism. And
No. Hammer down from communism.
yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, cool.
So we're just gonna, you know what? We've been doing it wrong. Let's do this.
Let's do it right.
Let's do it right.
We should do communism right.
Listen,
What does communism
war's,
right looks like?
war's over. All right, anti-rightist campaign. We done shown them. But now, since we beat them, ain't nobody gonna stop us. There's nobody that can stop us right now because guess what? We beat them. We beat them.
Oh, you what? They won?
I mean, what? Right? Am I wrong on that? Anti-rightist campaign?
I mean, they didn't win the Korean War. We just stalemated.
That's not the Korean War.
we stalemated.
No.
Right, 1950. Go back up.
Their anti-rightist campaign.
Yeah, the anti-rightist campaign started in 57. We stalemated the Korean War in 53.
That's what I'm saying. I'm past that.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is they beat the anti-rightist campaign within their own. I'm guessing that's some sort of civil action, right? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah.
So
it was internal.
So then you go to the Great Leap Forward, 58. So in that last year of the anti-rightist campaign, they're like, fuck it, let's go. Probably should have looked some of this up, but we're just looking at death tolls. So Great Leap Forward, 1958 to 1962, a 4-year period.
Hold
30.
on. Hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on.
30 to 45 million people dead. Thanks, communism.
That was
I think I made the point.
only So wait a second. So in the anti-rights campaign, it's 500,000.
I should probably look that up, actually.
In the Korean
'Cause
War.
I'm not sure what that is.
In the Korean War, they lost upwards of 600,000. So 1.1 million people.
What are you talking
1.1 million
Where?
people between the Korean War and the anti-rights campaign.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
died, right? And then
And then
1958
4 years.
showed up.
4
and they
years.
were like, hold
My beer.
my. What do they drink in China?
Hold my sake.
That's
Is that
Japanese,
Japan?
which is the Jap. They didn't get along. That's a whole
I was going to say, I know the
Oh,
Korean
boy.
one. Hold my soju.
dude. People in Japan are gonna be so pissed. You're like, hold my sake, like that was not from us. Okay, Ooh. It's not the same.
It's a terrible reenactment.
So, for 30 to 45 million people from 58 to 62, that's 4 years.
4
In
years.
4 years, they
4
managed
years.
to kill. Let's just go on the low end. Should we do the math on the low end? What? 30 million people. 30 million people. Oh, stupid new phone. Divided by 4. That's 7.5 million people a year. 7.5 million people a year. That's wild, dude. Like how many people were in concentration camps in World War II? Like it ended up like 8 million people. I think it was like 8 to 10 million people. And then they just
Not really sure.
like China just decides like we're going to do the Holocaust but like every year. That's insane. Where did you go? What happened?
Oh, you're on.
Oh, no, I put it back to. Now we're over here doing technical difficulty stuff. God dang it. I didn't know that it got switched right over to me. And then I put it back to group and you walked away.
Yeah, I don't like you.
Fair. Dude. That's too. That's a wild amount of human lives. And when I was in school, and you can tell me if I'm incorrect on this, but when I was in
Yes.
school, like the concentration camps from the Nazi party, like super focused on, and then they were like, "Hey, China killed people," and like skipped over it.
That's
Why?
because you've never had any real insider information. Well, I mean, maybe the government did, but it was never to the people on what happened there, because the government's not going to really highlight what China does, good or bad. I mean, they'll do the bad now, but what does it matter to us? So then it's never been reported on.
I think it matters in a huge way.
I'm
we have
sure,
an
but-
entire population inside this country now that thinks that communism
But what
is
we've
like
been
the way to
told-
go.
You know what I mean?
Well, no, I was okay. Yeah, you're right.
What the mass amount of people have been told, they just weren't. All right, so just to double check what this whole anti-rightist campaign was about, because I'm retarded. Let's see.
Damn it, I missed it again.
I'm retarded.
Dang it.
Cunt.
So,
now that one-
well, you should have been quicker with it. Political campaign to purge alleged rightists. So that's it. That's the one. So they purged them. So they purged the rightists, which totally makes sense, like I said, without even knowing it, because I'm so good. That's why the Great Leap Forward happened, because they were probably finally able to implement everything that they wanted to do, where the rightists were probably doing something to hold them back. But
I don't know, trying to be normal human beings that didn't want to, like, be starved to death
details,
by a centralized government that has no idea what it's doing.
damnedest thing.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
So 500,000. There was 500,000 good souls trying to fucking help. All right. So the Great Leap Forward, again, 4 years from yours to mine is anywhere from 15 to 45 million people.
45 45 million.
And let's be realistic.
That's a wild number.
It's if we know it's that many, it's probably a lot more.
Just to go back to like put some perspective on 45 million. You know how many what's the current population of Ukraine? I think was like 39 million.
Oh yeah, it's over the population. Over the population.
They killed a country. They killed over a country.
Yeah. In 4 years.
Dude, in 4 years.
Let me tell you something.
I don't understand how people can possibly think that, like, oh, communism's like a thing that maybe we should look into. Like, they killed a country.
Let's put it in perspective.
Oh, please.
China.
Yeah.
Communism.
Yep.
4 years. What years were World War II?
40 to 45.
40 to 40. No, it was retard. No.
From America.
42.
Yeah, you might be right on that.
Yeah. 42 to 45 maybe. Because I'm terrible with dates and, memory's tough. But in a 4-year period of time, they killed up to 45 million people. And let's call it 45 million people because it's probably higher than that. And the worst person on earth that I think most every American would ever agree upon is Hitler.
41 to 45.
41 to 45. So
For
let's say
the U.S. involved.
Hitler killed how many Jews?
God dang it. I'm going to run out of grok questions.
6 million, roughly.
8.
6 to 8 million.
Yeah.
That one man that everybody thinks is the worst person on the earth, who killed X amount of Jews, between 6 and 8 million people, until you figure out what it really is.
11 to 12.
11 to 12. Wait.
11 to 12.
Is that Jews? 6 million Jews. I see it. 6 million Jews.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
But like that's
so,
not,
but Hitler.
But that
no.
That wasn't everyone that was in the camps.
I
Like,
get
it was
that.
11.
I'm using that as an
Okay.
example.
Fair.
6 million Jews this cocksucker killed.
Yeah.
Right? This piece of shit, worthless human fucking being that everybody can agree they hate Hitler.
Yeah, he sucks.
Right. But the Chinese party in 4 years killed 45 million of their own fucking people.
Yeah, but that was only during.
So let's just.
That was only during the Cultural Revolution, which is 66 to 76. So that's not a big deal. Oh
No. The
sorry,
Great Leap Forward.
No,
No, we're not done with China,
it's not a
Dak.
big deal.
That's just an example of 4 years of China.
Oh,
That's 4 years they killed that many people. And everybody thinks Hitler's the worst person on earth. But let's be realistic. The Chinese government is the worst people on earth.
still.
Hitler's still a douche.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fucking, I'm just trying to put it in perspective as far as how many people he legitimately killed because of his ideals.
This is what I.
But the Chinese population in 4 fucking years killed 45 million of their own people because they're retarded.
This is what I don't understand about anybody in America. Like these young kids being like, "Oh, this is communism hasn't been tried correctly yet," or what? Oh, communism is the way to go for human flourishing. It's like,
Okay,
But
well, you want communism?
4 years.
What you're going to find out is
45 million
you're going to find the Great Leap Forward, and you're going to see that.
What if Biden was in charge and had the same power that the CCP had during a Great Leap Forward?
Dead.
We're all dead. We're all dead. Like, you give that much power.
We're not even done yet. We're not even done yet. The Cultural Revolution, 1966 to 1976. So we got a good 10-year. They only managed to kill 1.3 million. Some estimates go higher. Political purges, Red Guard violence, labor camps, forced suicides, and what is that? Factional infighting. Okay.
Fractional.
Is that fractional? No, there's no
Fractional.
R. That's factional.
Factional. Well, I would say fractional. So infighting from the CCP.
Yeah, infighting. So people infighting, whatever. So 1.3 million in a 10-year span. Pretty good.
I mean,
China standards? Pretty good.
China standards is
they're
pretty great.
They're batting a 900 in them years. They had a decade. Okay? So since 49 to what math? 49 to 76. How many years is that?
49 to 76?
Math. I don't do math.
Well, 49,
30 some
49 to
years.
79 would be 30 years. So minus 3.
27 years. 27.
Yep.
So they're batting a third. I don't know if that's a real combo. I don't follow sports.
I don't think that. I don't
They're
think
at 33.3% repeating, it seems to be, as far as years that they haven't killed a shit ton of their people since this came in.
Great. Good. Well, but we didn't get to the one-child policy yet.
That's because we can't, John. Because from 1979 to 2015, there was no fucking record of how many forced abortions, sterilizations, and population control measures beyond that we don't even probably know about.
They don't even track.
Not a fucking bit.
They don't even track the number of babies they killed.
Nope.
None.
So
Can we make?
what is that?
Are there estimates?
79 to 15.
Dude,
Let's just call it 80. There's 20, 35, 30, 36 years. They instilled that one child only law.
Just killing babies.
And if you went past it, or I would assume with their culture, if their first one was a girl, a lot of people probably might even opted in for one because they wanted a boy.
Right.
That was such a thing there. So you're talking about unknown millions upon millions because of that.
Yeah. I'm asking how many Chinese would exist today without a one-child policy?
You don't know.
It
wasn't recorded.
It's going to base it off of like what the average birth rates. Estimates suggest it prevented 300 to 400 million births.
No.
300 to 400 million births. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, prevented.
Pre-policy fertility rate was 5.5 children per woman, dropping to 2.75 by 1979. Okay. Other programs involved. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is just like, this is actually like awful.
Yeah, you went too far. We don't want to get that far into it. I don't think we have to.
No, this is
disgusting.
The
just the basic points here of how absolutely insane and ridiculous these fucking deaths are from China.
dude.
From their own cause and their own people.
As of March 9th, 2025, China's population is approximately 1.41 billion. Okay? That's estimated for what it is now. Now, we lost during those years 300 to 400 million people. That's without that policy, they could have been at like 1.7 billion people right now. That's a massive difference. That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. Like, so you have their crappy governmental policies on one hand, and then you have like real human lives on the other. Human lives that never even got the chance to try.
Yeah. So I think you gave me an idea there when you were talking through that. What I wanted to do is I actually pulled up the population before and after the time frames we were talking about with the death totals. So let's run this again.
Okay.
Because I have a feeling this is what's going to give us kind of an idea why they went to the one-child family. So the Civil War, Chinese Civil War aftermath, 1949-1950. Deaths, 1 to 2 million. Population before, 540 million. Population after, 550 million.
So you killed 2 million people, and you still end up with
And you still gained
10
8.
million more
You still
people.
gained 8.
No, I mean your population before.
No.
your
You
population
gained
after.
You gained 8.
No. You killed 2 million people.
Well, you gained 10.
Still
You
gained 10.
Well, you gained 12, really.
That's okay.
You gained 12. You killed 2, you gained 12. Excuse me. Korean War, 1950, 1953, death toll 400 to 600,000. Population, 550 million. Population after, 580 million.
They were having babies.
They gained 30 million people.
They were having babies.
They were
dude.
fucking hard. Fucking.
I don't know what that does. I hit the button. Wait,
Wrong button.
my bad, homie.
All right. So the anti-rightus campaign, deaths, 500,000. Population before, 640 million. So they had already popped up another, what's that math? 60 million people.
That's 20 million people before and after.
And then after, 660 million. So they gained 20 million people. All right, great leap forward, 1958 to 1962, where they lost 30 to 45 million people. Population,
Stayed
660
the same.
million.
How does that
Before-
stay the same?
After, 660 million.
How does that stay
Stagnation
the same, dude?
due to famine. How is that stagnation? I mean, yeah, I guess it is stagnation because they didn't grow. But the people that died from famine were replaced.
They were still
They stayed the same. That's insane.
They were still having at it.
They was getting
That doesn't make any
They
sense to me. How
was
do you
getting it.
30 to 45 million people? And
30 to
and they
and it
like-
didn't change at all. They
even a little bit.
do over 4 years. Do over. Just kidding.
It's like they were-
Mulligan.
It's like they were on a mission. We're like, we're not going back from here. We're not coming back.
It's crazy.
That's insane. All right, so let's see.
So, Cultural Revolution, 1 to 3 million dead. Population at the time, 750 million. Population after, 930 million. Holy shit. In a 10-year period where they lost, call it 3 mil, it doesn't even fucking matter. You went up how much? Almost 200 million people. You went up 180 million people.
I mean, it's on
That's crazy.
it's like it's on this scale. It's a bell curve, right?
Ready?
Like
One
you're
child
just
policy.
shooting up like crazy.
One child policy. 1979, 2015. Deaths unknown, millions. Yours says between, what'd you say?
300 to 400
300,
million,
200 to 400 million.
something like that.
They went from 970 million to 1.375 billion. These Chinese people are just fucking nonstop. Nonstop banging. Get it.
I mean, dude,
That's insane.
So like, what?
So
would
China
it
can do
look
whatever the
like?
fuck they want,
What would it have
and they're
looked like?
still just gonna.
What would it have
bang
looked
'em
like
out.
if they would not have been murdering all the people they murdered? Like, in a sick way, the U.S. should probably be a little bit thankful that, you got rid of a bunch of your people, because could you imagine? Like, I don't think people in the U.S. understand like the size difference from China.
Well, and I think when you were saying if they prevented that, the extra 400, I don't think that's a real number. I think it'd be way higher.
you would
Because that
on-
that prevented, plus all the other things going on, nobody could eat. If that population did that,
On an
but then the next ones,
Dude.
these next things we're going through,
If
would have
we're-
been just extrapolated huge
if
numbers.
we're looking at these numbers now, can you imagine what like the extrapolated numbers would have been from like 400 million more people?
That's what I just fucking said. I literally just said that.
You said it's stupid.
No. You were waiting for your turn to talk. You weren't listening.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you.
Dude.
Fuck you.
this is like okay. So I've actually never really looked. I've
I've never either
seen these numbers before. This is
that's why
wild.
It's fascinating. I mean, it's terrible, but it's fascinating.
Dude.
Tiananmen Square, 200 to 10,000 people. I don't even know why that's in here.
I'm gonna look this up right now because.
But in the same time frame, in just 1989, this is a good one. In just 1989, 1.1 to 1.14 billion. They added 300 million people in a year. Right?
I don't, dude.
Is my math wrong on
Don't
that?
make me math.
I feel like math is terrible.
Don't make me math on the.
It's 100 million per 0.1 of a billion. If I'm not wrong. So that's 300 million people in a year.
So
after they lost 10,000, I don't even know why that's in there. Probably just because it was
as of March 9th, 2025. Current population of China is approximately 1.41 billion people. That's a ridiculous number.
Oh wait, no, 1.1.
That's a ridiculous.
No, that'd be
number.
that'd be 300,000, 400,000. So, but okay, population 2010 to present 1.41. So in 2010 it was 1.34, and in 2025 it's 1.41. I'm just gonna hold on. Oh, sorry, this beer. This just clicked out in my mind, and tell me if I'm fucking wildly off from this. $1989, 1.1 billion.
Yeah.
To 1.14 billion. Okay?
Yeah.
89. 2010, 1.34 billion. 2025, 1.41 billion.
What happened there?
How did they just... Am I retarded and not known, but did they just not allow people to have children anymore? What's going on with the... Why is it so flat?
That seems...
in comparison to everything else.
Yeah.
Am I retarded?
No.
Or is this... Well, okay.
Yes. However...
Am I retarded on this?
In this one specific situation, no. I don't... Like, that seems really strange. And I can't...
Or did they just stop reporting shit? And we don't know.
I mean, that's...
Because... or are they maintaining and they only report the population that's not in these camps, and those camps are growing? You never know. It's
so...
Why? Why, John?
I don't know.
Communism.
That could be our new communism button. Like anytime communism
might as
comes
well.
up, that's what we're going to talk about. I just...
But why? Tell me that didn't just jump out at you. Like, how the fuck did it all of a sudden just like, we're just, there's a couple of kids a year or so. You got over 1 billion people. How many people are born in the U.S. every year? And we got 340 million. Tell me this math is... I'm fucking dumb at math, but this doesn't math.
So to be fair, like in a lot of the outgrowth area of China outside of the cities, like it's still a lot like farms used to be back in the U.S. where it was like you had kids because, farm help.
Yeah.
So you just had a bunch of them.
But you're not... I don't see how this has anything to do with that. You're going to be able to explain a couple of farms...
I think that
growth.
Most of the population, just like it did in the U.S., started to consolidate into the cities. And in the cities, like you don't need 7 to 10 kids. You need you maybe need like a kid.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
so,
sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But you went from what to what in the same time frame?
Well, from 89 to
doing
now.
the first the one child family when 2015.
But by that point,
so at 2015 it was 1.37 billion. Now we're at 1.41 billion. How many people is that? How many people is that in 10 years?
I don't know, dude.
Do math. How many people is that in 10 years?
What'd you say?
Where'd we go? 1.14 billion. So it's 114 some zeros.
Yeah, I know what the dang thing
and then
is.
it's 141 some zeros.
Minus 1 point.
Well, no, that you don't want to minus from that. You want to minus from the current one.
No. So
1.14 billion.
1.14 to 1.41.
You're welcome. Yeah, 114.
That's
141.
270 million people.
So that math don't add.
What did I say? 270 million. Yeah, that's 270 million person difference. So they just didn't add 270 million people to their population in that time frame.
Well, I guess I
From
mean,
20
I guess it is possible because that is such a wildly high number. You would probably have to look at just
it
what their
doesn't-
normal death rates are for the country.
So let's go back. So let's go to the Cultural Revolution. Do we know what their population was for?
750 million to 930 million.
Jeez, math. Jim's gonna be so mad at us. 730. No, wait.
It's
Minus.
180 million.
Oh wait.
180 million growth
930 minus
in 10 years.
750.
So maybe that is more accurate. Maybe I'm
180
just
million?
retarded.
Yeah, I mean, that's close. I mean, so we're talking on
All right.
we're talking about being on a graduated scale too, right? Where the more people you have, the more people you can make, it becomes exponential at a certain point. Like that bell curve kicks in. So I mean, maybe that's not as crazy as we thought. But
It seemed crazy,
think-
but I guess if you're adding it all together,
to think from our standpoint that like we have a country of like 340 maybe million
legal.
340 million people, 328 million. whatever.
No. 340 is legal.
I'm going down.
Probably like 380.
I don't think 340 is legal. I don't think that's true. But whatever.
That's
Let's-
what the government census told me
Let's call it 300,
once every 10 years.
Let's call it 350 million people. And China has 1.41 billion people.
Yeah. So what?
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
But they're smaller. They don't take up as much space. That's why they build phones. They got the smaller hands.
because they hire children. Oh, God. Now
You would never know. In their defense, they probably don't even know.
They probably don't know. Hands
Like,
are the same size.
Is she 18 or 47? I'm not sure.
Shit.
I'm
out. I gotta pee. You
Oh, well, let's wrap it up.
took it. You took it so far off the.
What do you mean? How
We
did I
didn't
take?
even get to why communism sucks yet.
I think it's quite clear that communism is trash unless you're fucking. Because apparently China keeps up, and it don't matter if they do some dumb shit. I mean, sure, yeah, for the people
Just
it
do-
sucks.
Just
The
do
normal,
stupid
the
stuff
normal
and kill
people.
all of your population,
Okay.
but just make
So,
you have a
like,
healthy
if-
sex life.
If you're
and
okay
fine.
with being the 15 to 45 million people that's going to die, if you're okay with being that statistic, communism might work because apparently China has proven us wrong that you can still grow if
And
you
just-
have enough people banging.
Just yeah. Well, I mean, that's, I'm really pissed.
But as the people, you have to understand that you might just not make it yourself. And if you're okay with that, to communism.
I'm really pissed. I'm really pissed that that's not untrue.
I was expecting a totally different outcome from here, but communism works if you got enough people and you keep fucking. It's just not a great life.
It's a horrible life.
It's a horrible, shitty life. And honestly, their numbers probably don't even count the camps that they have.
What are we doing?
Oh.
Cut it. You know what? Hit the like button. Subscribe on all the different platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Spotify, we're on all these places. And base after this last performance, fuck, you might as well just not tune in again. But until you tune in again, we'll see you guys next time.
Not upset about it. All right. Have fun.
You never know what's next, yeah, it's always fresh. Dive into the chat or get lost in the mesh. Life hacks, laughter, wisdom in disguise. Hosts got you covered, hit you with surprise. Moments you didn't know you needed in your ears. Hey, bud. Podcast, cheers to all your fears. Ride the wave with us in humor and in facts. Current events, nostalgia, ever-changing tracks. No limits to our topic, sky is not the end. Hey, bud. Podcast where strangers become friends.